Hey guys, today is going to be a part 2 or a supplement to the last two videos I did. The 955 Phoenix Eclipse video and then the 7/11 Magic Sun and Saturn ritual. I recorded a couple different versions of each of these videos, and some stuff got left out, and I wanted to shorten this 7/11 one. So I'm just going to add in everything back here with this video, stuff that got left out. And we're going to be covering this 477 quite a bit in this video. 477 minutes is 33.13% of a day. And that goes back to our Revelation 8:11 connection, the 3313, the 24th star number. We're going to be talking a little bit about this 12/22/2019 date I've been showing as the start of World War III. Everything is going to slide to the 101st day from the connection on the 12/22/2019 date. I'm going to talk about this date a little bit, give you a preview of March 31st and March 25th, 2020. And I showed you in the last video, April 2nd, 2020, the connection to the Great American Eclipse and the other eclipse that forms the X, the Pyramid, and 955 time connection. So I'm going to just cover all these things with the stuff I missed. We're going to take a look at that 477. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the 477 that has to do with Chernobyl. Chernobyl translates to wormwood in the Ukrainian, and we had the Chernobyl disaster on April 26, 1986. To our April 2nd, 2020 date I showed you in the last video, and that would be 407 months and 7 days for our 477. Our time connection to the 24th star number. Also, I talked about this date of April 18th, 2016, how it encoded the next 9/11 date of March 25th, 2020. When Donald Trump replaced 7/11 with 9/11 during this speech. April 18th, 2016 was 32 weeks and 5 days after the anniversary of the end of World War II, and it was 1,365 days before the Saturn-Sun conjunction on January 13th, 2020, and the Saturn-Sun conjunction last time was 29 years ago at the beginning of Desert Storm. But we have our World War II connection here, and I was telling you how it was related to the date of March 25th, 2020. And that date was 6,771 total days after 9/11, a reverse 1776. But there's a 477 here as well, from the date of that speech to 3/25/2020. It's 47 months and 7 days. Another 477. So let's go back to the map here. The last video I showed you Phoenix Island, how the reflecting pool of the Washington Monument points to Phoenix Island, and Phoenix Island was discovered 90 years, 5 months, and 5 days before World War I. There's another 955 along the way here on the same line. This Washington Island. It's also called Terrana Island, but they list a land area of 9.55 square kilometers. Another 955 on the way to the Phoenix Island. It was discovered 90 years, 5 months, 5 days before World War I. So if we go back here also, I want to show you the Trinity test. There's a 477 with the Trinity test here. So the Trinity test was the first nuclear test performed by the United States on July 16, 1945. And then the last nuclear test was called Divider, and it was on September 23, 1992. And that was a total span of 47 years, 70 days for our 477, the 3313 star number. And also on here I have the line drawn from the Trinity test, the first nuclear test, to the last nuclear test called the Julian Divider nuclear test. And if we measure the distance between the two, the first and last U.S. nuclear tests, it's 585 miles. And I showed you that last video as well. Several videos I mentioned the 585. It's an earthquake number. Early speculations on the natural causes of earthquakes were included in the writings of Thales of Miletus, 585 BC. So 585 is the beginning of the study of earthquakes. An important number that is used many times in rituals. Okay, I'm going to go back here and show you some more relationships to the World War III and 12/22/2019. Like I said, I've done several videos on World War III beginning 12/22/2019, but it's going to slide over to March 31st, 2020, the 101st day after 12/22. Everything on this calendar slides over through the Julian Hebrew calendar. But if we take a look here at the official declarations of war by the United States, the first official declaration of war was the War of 1812 on 6/18/1812. And currently, the last declaration of war that we've had was the first Libyan Civil War on February 15th, 2011. You can see that war lasted 8 months, 1 week, and 1 day. And that's a reference to Revelation 8:11 again. And in order to be an official war here, we have the first 5 wars and their declaration dates. Then after World War II, with the beginning of the United Nations, for the United States to have an official war, Congress had to vote on it, and it also had to be approved or authorized by the United Nations Security Council. So the first 5 wars, and these are the next 7 wars. So our first Libyan Civil War was the 12th war, and World War III will be the 13th official war that the United States participates in. So I showed you here that the first official declaration of war was 6/18/1812. And if we go to 12/22/2019, and we'll include the end date here, it's 207 years, 6 months, and 5 days. And we'll look at this as a 2765. But it's also 20,765% of a common year. So these two numbers match, this 2765. And there's a little bit of a riddle here contained here with the World War III and then the first and last current declarations of war. If we go back to March 16th, 2016, that's when Donald Trump officially announced his budget for that year. And within that budget, he announced that he might cut the Meals on Wheels program. And all these news outlets were reporting that the Meals on Wheels program cost $2,765 per person per year. And that goes back and matches our 2765 from the first war to 12/22/19. But what he did here was that budget was announced on March 16th, 2017. And our last official declaration of war previous to that was on 2/15/2011. The war that lasted 8 months, 1 week, and 1 day. So his budget announcement that matches this World War III riddle here with the 2765 was 22-21 days after the last official declaration of war. And 2221 is the 331st prime number. Giving us a clue to the real date of World War III. And also 2221 is the 404th and final verse of Revelation. Revelation 22:21. So it's a Revelation, 8:11, World War III. All these rituals were encompassed, the very first and the current last declaration of war, and then World War III, all wrapped up in this riddle with the 2765. One thing I talked about many times last year and previously was this date of 12/18/2018, how important the number of 12/18 is. I've showed many examples of the 12/18. But this 12/18, if we look at it and break it down, it connects to the Hebrew year of creation. The 12th prime is 37, and the 18th prime is 61. So a 12/18 can be converted into the 3761, which was the Hebrew year of creation, and 3761 itself is the 523rd prime. And once again, 523 is the 99th prime. And there's another World War III riddle here with the 99. And it has to do with the song 99 Red Balloons. And if we look at the second verse here, Back at base, bugs in the software flash the message, something's out there. And if we go here and look at the video for the 99 red balloons, it was originally released by the German band Nina, but the video premiered on March 13th, 1983. And our 12/22/2019 date, there's 19 weeks from the release of the 99 red balloons video to 12/22/2019. And this goes back to our Revelation 19:19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And this is the 339th verse of Revelation. And I told you guys here before that I have this 325 date as the next 9/11 date, or the activation of the emergency alert system. So we had 9/11, 2001 to 3/25/2020. It's our total span of 6,771 days, the mirror reflection of 1776. If you look here, 325, that's a reflection of 523. 523, 325. But if we look here, 9/11 was on the 254th day of the year, and 2020 is a leap year, so March 25th will be the 85th day of the year. And they sum to 339. And again, that goes back to Revelation 19:19, the 339th verse of Revelation. Which the 99 red balloons is encoded to. 523 as well, the mirror of it. So let's take a look here, a little preview of this 3/31/2020 date. And you can see here, if we write World War III and then include the date of 31/3 or 3/31, it actually is the 24th star number when you combine them together. It's exactly what was intended. And you can see here I have the 8th verse of Revelation here. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. This is the 8th verse of Revelation, and it's the first time that the Alpha and the Omega are referenced in Revelation. And I'll let you guys figure that out, what's going on here with that. But 3/31/2020, we're going to take a look at this 3313 star number plus the year, and it's 5,333. And 5,333 is the 706th prime. Okay, so if we add this 3313 and leave out the zeros, it's 33 35, the exact mirror. What we want to look at here is this 5333, the 706th prime. March 31st, 2020 is a Tuesday, and Tuesday is the day of Mars, and March is the month of Mars. And 3/31/2020 is the 91st day of 2020. And 91 is the 13th triangular number. And 13 also sits in the center of the magic square of Mars. You can see the magic square of Mars sums to 325. But once again, the 13th official war the United States will participate in, it will be World War III. So that's where we're getting all these 13s from. March 31st, 2020 is also the second day of the 14th week of 2020. This is a Valentine's connection. 214. I showed you this before. I talked about the Stoneman-Douglas shooting. I've done a couple of videos on it. The Stoneman-Douglas shooting will be a total of 777 days. Here's 3/31/2020. It's the second day of the 14th week of 2020. 91st day. The 777th day after the Valentine's shooting at Stoneman-Douglas. So you can see here on this slide I have Mars, the symbol for Mars, and I have the symbol for Saturn. If we take a look at Mars here, we're going to advance up to 3/25/2020. And Mars sits between Saturn and Jupiter. Let's go to this next slide here first. I just want to show you this here first. There's another 477 here I want to show you. On March 9th, 2007 was the release of the movie 300. And if we go to March 30th, 2020, it's 4,770 days of 477. But what I want to show you here is if we watch Mars, and we watch the ecliptic longitude position of Mars here, on 3/30 or March 30th, 2020, Mars hits 300 on the ecliptic longitude. So we have our 477 and our release of 300, the movie 300, where Sparta goes to war. Just kind of a clever reference here to the ecliptic longitude of Mars with the movie 300 and the 3313 star number. But Mars will officially be in conjunction with Saturn on March 31st, 2020. It's a Mars-Saturn conjunction. So that's why I have the Mars here. And like I said, this video is kind of just a preview of the World War III information that I have. But World War I and World War II have been specifically dancing around this Mars-Saturn conjunction in a very specific way in relation to the declaration of war. Well, we'll cover that. But finally, on 3/31/2020, when Saturn and Mars come together, the god of war and the god of time, that will be the official start date of World War III. One more thing here with Saturn I wanted to show you guys too. I left out of a couple videos here since we're talking about Saturn. If we look at this Voyager 2 space probe that was launched on August 20th, 1977, it supposedly flew by Saturn on August 26, 1981. You can see that's 1,467 days. From Voyager 2 launch to the flyby of Saturn and the 1467, right? That goes back to our height of the Great Pyramid with the capstone. The Great Pyramid with the capstone, 146.7 meters, or 481 feet. Without the capstone, 138.8 meters, or 455 feet. If we look at this real quick, difference between the finished and unfinished pyramid is 26 feet, so we have a 26-foot capstone. The 26th prime is 101. And they even list the flyby of Saturn as 101,000 kilometers for our capstone reference for the 1467. Here's one more movie release reference for March 31st, 2020. The movie Mars Attacks was released on December 13th, 1996. And you can see here from the release of Mars Attacks to March 31st, 2020, 23 years, 109 days. So that's a 2319. And that goes back to this video I did. This video here, the preview of Revelation 19:19, is all about the 2319 and how important it is to presidents, and encodes aliens and other things here. But 2319, very, very important. I always recommend going back and watching this video with the 2319. But there's your 2319 again with the movie Mars Attacks and 3/31/2020 connection. Okay, I've been saving up these 523s for a couple years actually. But if we look here at my calendar, I have 3/25/2020 here as 6,771 days, total days after 9/11. And 325 is the mirror of 523, just as 6771 is the mirror or reflection of the founding year of the United States. But this 523 This is a screenshot from the movie War Dogs. This is a screenshot from the animated series Archer. This is from episode 33 called Crossing Over. And I've talked about how Wormwood is the planet of the crossing. And they actually reference Wormwood in this episode. It's episode 33, Crossing Over. And room 523 is the ISIS safe house. And in War Dogs 523, this is the hotel room they stay in. Another 523 you can see here is in Gone in 60 Seconds. The police car here is a 523. This is from the movie Knowing. This is a 15523. In Hebrew, Wormwood sums to 155, and then you have the 523 kind of spliced right into it here. And this is from the, I believe this was February 20th, 2000, I can't remember the year, but this is the Uber driver, the Uber shooting. And the last trip that he made on this shooting was $5.23. But I've been collecting these 523s that I see. There's probably a lot more. These are just the ones I've found. But it goes back to our 325, the mirror of 523, 1776. And our 1218, 99, prime, 523, all this little connection here with the Hebrew year of creation. Well, I think I covered everything else I missed here, guys. I'm going to go into much more detail here with the dates of 3/31 and 3/25/2020. Everything for 12/22 that I've shown, it just slides across here to the 101st day, which is 3/31/2020, 12/22/2019. Excuse me, 12/22/2019, 101st day, March 31st. Remember I showed you the last nuclear test that the United States was 9/23/1992. If you want, you can find the connection here to April 5th, 2020. But I'm going to cover 3/25 and 3/31 in much more detail, and show you how they've been following Mars for their declarations of war. Okay, guys, that's it. Well, that's not it, actually. There's a couple things here I wanted to show you. I showed this slide in the last video about the capstone, the Pyramidion. And you can see here, this is a picture of the Louvre with its reflecting pool reflecting the pyramid. I want to recommend a few channels for you guys to look at. This is Lambda 115, his YouTube channel. He did an excellent video. This video here, Saturn Ritual. I'll leave the links in the description to the videos that I'm going to recommend here. But he did an excellent video about the pyramids here, and another excellent video about why 9 and 11 are worshipped. But I'll leave links to Lambda's videos here. Also, I'm going to leave a couple links to a couple of my favorite videos from Bobby Simpson. I'll leave a link to, I believe it was the Berlin train station bombing. I'll leave the link here, but he did an excellent video on that, and I'm going to leave a link to his his video about the 218 and 219, the relationship between the numbers 218 and 219. The 218 I've talked about, and Bobby Simpson talks about it a lot, but it's a very significant number that I'm going to be bringing up when I talk about World War III. Also, another channel you guys should check out is Whiteboard Gematria. He has a pretty good channel that shows how the 4 base ciphers of Gematria are the building blocks for many of these same rituals that I talk about. Excellent channel as well. So I'll leave links in the description for these channels. Like I said, Lambda 115 does an excellent job with showing the pyramid and how it relates to the Star of David here. Okay guys, I have all my information in my notes. I just need to make the slides and record it for you guys. Okay, thanks for watching.